Captain Thexval stood on the bridge of his ship, the Void Reaper. His red eyes looked at the star maps floating in front of him. For 3 years, his pirate fleet had been hunting in this part of space. They took what they wanted from weak ships and sold prisoners to the slave markets. But today was different. Today, they had found something special. Captain called his communications officer, a thin creature with 4 arms. I have finished studying the human signals we caught last week. Thexval turned around. The humans were new to this part of space. Their ships were strong and their weapons were good, but they were also far from home and few in number. Perfect. Targets. What did you learn? Thexval asked. The officer touched his control panel. Strange sounds filled the bridge, human voices speaking in their odd language. The humans have interesting rules, Captain. When one of their ships is in trouble, they send help very fast. They do not leave their people behind. Thexval's mouth opened in what might have been a smile. His sharp teeth caught the light. So, they are soft. They care too much about each other. Yes, Captain. But there is more. I studied their distress signals. I know how they work. I know what words they use. I know what sounds they make. The officer paused. I can make a fake human. Distress call. The bridge went quiet. All the pirates looked at their captain. Thexval walked slowly around the control area, thinking. His claws clicked on the metal floor. Tell me your plan, he said. The officer stood up straighter. We send a fake distress call. We say we are a human ship in trouble. The humans will send a rescue ship. When it comes, we attack it. We take their technology and sell their crew. Thexval nodded slowly. And they will come alone? Yes, Captain. Their rescue ships do not travel in large groups. They move fast to help people. 1 ship, maybe 2 at most. The plan was good. Very good. Thexval looked out at his fleet through the big window. 12 ships waited in the darkness. More than enough to destroy 1 human rescue ship. Do it, he ordered. The next few hours were busy. The pirates moved their ships to a good hiding spot near some big rocks floating in space. The rocks would hide them until the humans came close. Then they would spring their trap. The communications officer worked hard on the fake message. He listened to real human distress calls again and again. He learned how scared humans sounded when their ships were breaking. He learned what technical words they used. The message is ready, Captain, the officer said finally. Let me hear it, Thexval replied. The officer pressed a button. A voice came from the speakers. It sounded human, scared, and desperate. This is the colony ship New Horizon. We are having major engine problems. Our life support systems are failing. We have 50,000 people on board, including children. Our location is Sector 77 Alpha. Please help us. Anyone who can hear this, please help us. The voice was perfect. Even Thexval, who had fought humans before, believed it was real. The fear in the voice sounded true. The technical details were right. The location was exactly where the pirates were waiting. Send it, Thexval ordered. The fake distress call went out into space, traveling faster than light toward human territory. Now they just had to wait. Far away, on a human patrol ship called Soul's Pride, Communications Officer Hannah was doing her usual job. She listened to radio signals from across the sector. Most of the time, it was just normal ship traffic. Traders talking to space stations, military ships reporting their positions. Nothing exciting. But then something came through that made her sit up straight. This is the colony ship New Horizon. We are having major engine problems. Hannah's hands moved quickly over her controls. A colony ship in trouble meant thousands of people might die. She recorded the message and played it again. The voice sounded scared and real. The ship's name was in the computer. New Horizon was indeed a real colony ship that had left Earth 6 months ago. Captain June to the bridge immediately, she called over the ship's communication system. Captain June arrived in less than a minute. He was a tall man with serious eyes and gray hair. He had been in space for 20 years and had seen many emergencies. "What do we have?" he asked. Hana played the message for him. June listened carefully, his face getting more worried with each word. 50,000 people, he said quietly. "How far away are they?" "About 6 hours at full speed, sir," Hana replied. June thought for a moment. His ship was small and fast, but it was not meant for big rescue operations. 50,000 people would need many ships to save them all. "Send this message to Earth Command immediately," he ordered. "Priority 1. Then set course for their location, maximum speed." "Yes, sir," Hana said. Her fingers flew over the controls. The message went out toward Earth. At the same time, Soul's Pride turned and began moving toward the location where the pirates were waiting. Captain June did not know he was flying into a trap. All he knew was that humans were in trouble, and he had to help them. Back on the Void Reaper, the pirates watched their sensors. They could see the human ship coming toward them. Just one ship, exactly as they had planned. "When will they arrive?" Thexval asked. 5 hours and 30 minutes, Captain," replied his navigator. "Good. Tell all ships to stay hidden behind the rocks. Wait for my signal to attack." Thexval walked to his command chair and sat down. "Today we will learn what human technology is really worth." The pirates checked their weapons and made their final preparations. They had fought many different kinds of aliens before. Some were strong, some were smart, some were fast. But all of them could be beaten with the right plan. Humans were supposed to be different. The stories said they were dangerous fighters, but Thexval did not believe the stories. Every species liked to tell tales about how tough they were. Humans were probably just like all the others, soft and easy to beat when you surprised them, as the hours passed. Both sides moved closer to each other. The pirates waited in their hiding place, ready to attack. The human ship raced through space, trying to save people who were not really in danger. Neither side knew what was really going to happen. The pirates thought they would capture one small ship. The humans thought they were going to rescue 50,000 colonists. Both sides were wrong. Deep in space, other human ships were already moving. Earth Command had received the distress call. They were preparing something the pirates had never seen before, something that would change everything. But that was still hours away. For now, there was just Soul's Pride flying alone through the darkness, carrying Captain June and his crew toward what they thought was a rescue mission. The trap was set. The hunters were ready. The prey was coming. Soon the galaxy would learn what happens when someone fakes a human distress call. Admiral Kyung sat in his office at Terra Command headquarters in Seoul, Earth. The building was huge and made of steel and glass. Through his window, he could see the city below and the ocean beyond. But right now, he was not looking at the view. He was looking at the emergency message on his computer screen. The words made his blood feel cold. 50,000 people. Colony ship New Horizon. Engine failure. Life support failing. Admiral Kyung had been in charge of Earth's military for 10 years. He had seen wars and battles and disasters, but nothing scared him more than the idea of humans dying alone in space, far from home. He pressed a button on his desk. "Get me the fleet commanders, now." Within minutes, his office was full of people, generals and admirals and captains. All of them looked serious. They had all read the message. "How long do we have?" asked Admiral Park, who was in charge of the rescue ships. "The Soul's Pride is already on the way," Kyung replied. "But one ship cannot save 50,000 people. We need to send everything we have." "Sir," said General Kim, "our closest fleet is the 7th Battle Group. They could be there in 8 hours. Admiral Kyung shook his head. "Not fast enough, and not big enough. We need more ships. We need the best ships." He stood up and walked to the big map on the wall. It showed all of Earth's military ships across the galaxy. Red dots for battleships, blue dots for cruisers, green dots for support ships. There were hundreds of dots. Emergency Protocol 7. he said quietly. The room went silent. Everyone knew what that meant. Protocol 7 was for the worst emergencies. When human colonies were attacked, when Earth itself was in danger. It had only been used 3 times in history. "Sir," said Admiral Park, "Protocol 7 means calling back ships from everywhere. It means taking them away from their missions." 50,000 people, Kyung said, looking at the map, including children, families, scientists going to build a new world. He turned around to face the others. "What would you do?" Nobody argued. They all knew he was right. "I want the Incheon's Thunder," Kyung said, pointing at a red dot on the map. "She's our biggest battleship. I want the Busan Strike and the Daigu's Hammer. I want 6 heavy cruisers and 12 destroyers." "Sir, that's almost our entire first." "Fleet," said General Kim. "Good. And I want fighters. Lots of fighters. Every carrier we can spare." Admiral Park was writing down the orders. "How many ships total, sir?" Kyung looked at the map again. "All of them. Every ship that can fight. Every ship that can carry people. Every ship that can fly." He paused. "We are going to show the galaxy what happens when humans are in trouble." The orders went out across the solar system. On Mars, the crew of the battleship Incheon's Thunder received their emergency orders and began preparing for immediate departure. The ship was enormous, 3 kilometers long and armed with weapons that could destroy planets. Captain Minho read the orders to his crew over the ship's communication system. "We have humans in trouble, 50,000 of them. We are going to bring them home." The crew cheered. They had trained for this their whole lives. Every human in the military knew the most important rule: never leave anyone behind. On the space station orbiting Jupiter, Commander So-young was getting her fighter squadrons ready. She had 40 of the best pilots in Earth's military. Each fighter was small but fast, with weapons that could cut through the strongest armor. "Listen up," she told her pilots as they gathered in the briefing room. "We have a colony ship in trouble. They have families on board, children, people who left Earth to build something new." She looked at each pilot. "We are going to make sure they get to do that." The pilots nodded. They understood. This was not just a mission. This was personal. Captain Woo Young commanded the assault cruiser Taekwondo. His ship was designed for one thing: fighting. It had the best weapons and the strongest armor. When the emergency orders came, he was already on the bridge. "Set course for the New Horizons' last position," he ordered. "Maximum speed. All crew to battle stations." His weapons officer looked confused. "Sir, we are going to rescue people. Why battle stations?" Woo Young smiled, but it was not a happy smile. "Because in space, rescue missions and combat missions are often the same thing." Across the solar system, the fleet was gathering. Ships came from patrol routes near Venus. Others came from the asteroid belt where they had been mining. Some came from as far away as Saturn. All of them had the same orders: get to the New Horizon as fast as possible. On Earth, Admiral Kyung. "Watch the reports come in." Ship after ship was reporting ready. The fleet was going to be huge, maybe too huge for a simple rescue mission. "Sir," said his aide, "some people are asking if this is too much. All these ships for one rescue." Kyung looked at the young officer. "Have you ever been on a colony ship?" "No, sir. I have. I was a child when my family left Earth to go to New Mars. I remember looking out the window at the stars and thinking how big and empty space was. I remember being scared that something would happen to our ship." Kyung walked back to his window. "Do you know what made me feel better?" "No, sir. Knowing that if something did happen, Earth would come for us. Every child on every colony ship knows that. It is the promise we make to everyone who leaves Earth to build new worlds." He turned around. "We keep our promises." The aide nodded and left. Kyung was alone with his thoughts. Outside, the first ships were already leaving Earth orbit. The Incheon's Thunder was so big that it blocked out the sun as it passed overhead. Fighter carriers followed it, their launch bays full of small, deadly ships. Cruisers and destroyers formed up in battle formations. It was the largest fleet Earth had sent anywhere in 20 years, enough firepower to conquer entire star systems. All of it heading toward one point in space where 50,000 humans were supposed to be in trouble. Admiral Kyung opened his communication channel to the fleet commander. "Admiral Doyon, this is Terra Command." "Terra Command, this is Admiral. Doyon aboard the Incheon's Thunder. Fleet is formed up and ready to depart." "Good. Remember, Admiral, this is a rescue mission." "But if someone is threatening our people?" Kyung paused. "Show them what Earth does to people who hurt humans." "Understood, sir. We will bring our people home." The fleet jumped to hyperspace, dozens of ships disappearing in flashes of light, racing across the galaxy toward the coordinates where the New Horizon was supposed to be. They did not know they were flying toward a trap. They did not know the distress call was fake. All they knew was that humans needed help, and Earth was coming. Behind them, on Earth, Admiral Kyung stood at his window and watched the last ships disappear. He felt proud of his fleet and his people. But he also felt something else, something cold in his stomach. In his 20 years of military service, he had learned to trust his instincts. And right now, his instincts were telling him that something was wrong. The distress call had seemed real. The situation seemed urgent, but something felt off. He picked up his phone and called his intelligence chief. "I want you to check something for me," he said. "The New Horizon. I want to know everything about that ship, where it came from, where it was going, who was on it, and I want to know if there is any way that distress call could be fake." "Sir, why would anyone fake a distress call?" Admiral Kyung looked out at the stars. "I don't know. But if someone did, they are about to learn that fooling Earth is the last mistake they will ever make." The investigation began, but it would take hours to get answers. By then, the fleet would already be at the coordinates. By then, it might be too late to change anything. In space, the Soul's Pride was getting close to where the New Horizon was supposed to be. Captain June was on the bridge watching the sensors. Behind him, racing through hyperspace, the largest rescue fleet in human history was coming to help, and ahead of him, hidden behind asteroids, 12 alien ships were waiting to spring their trap. None of them knew what was really about to happen. The Earth fleet dropped out of hyperspace like thunder. One moment there was empty space. The next moment, dozens of massive ships appeared in flashes of white light. The Incheon's Thunder came first, its enormous bulk blocking out the stars. Behind it came cruisers and destroyers, their weapons already turning toward the asteroid field. Admiral Doyon stood on the bridge of the flagship, looking at the sensor readings. His eyes were hard and focused. Around him, his crew worked at their stations with calm efficiency. "Report," he ordered. "No sign of the New Horizon, sir," said his sensor officer, Lieutenant Tae-hyung. "I'm detecting metal debris in the asteroid field, but nothing that looks like a colony ship." "Fighter patrols are launching now," reported Captain Jin-woo from the SE, Flight Control Station. "They'll sweep the area for survivors." Doyon nodded. Something felt wrong about this whole situation. A colony ship with 50,000 people should be easy to find. Even if it was broken, it would still be huge. But there was nothing here except rocks and empty space. "Sir," called Tae-hyung, his voice suddenly urgent, "I'm picking up energy. Signatures from the asteroid field. Multiple contacts. They're powering up weapons." Before Doyon could respond, the pirates attacked. 12 alien ships burst out from behind the asteroids like angry hornets. Their weapons fired immediately, sending streams of bright energy toward the human fleet. Captain Thexival had planned this moment perfectly. His ships were positioned to hit the humans from 3 different directions at once. "All ships, evasive action!" Doyon shouted into his communicator. "Return fire!" The space around the asteroids exploded into light and fury. The pirates had expected to catch a small rescue ship by surprise. Instead, they found themselves facing the most powerful fleet Earth had ever sent into deep space. The Inchin's Thunder's main guns spoke first. Each weapon was as big as a building and fired projectiles that moved faster than light. 2 pirate cruisers simply vanished in balls of fire. They did not even have time to scream. Captain Minho, commanding the Thunder, smiled grimly as he watched the enemy ships on his screen. "Target the big one," he told his weapons officer. "The one with all the fancy decorations." The Thunder's guns turned toward Thexval's flagship, the Void Reaper. The pirate captain saw death coming toward him and desperately ordered his ship to move. But the Thunder's weapons were too fast and too accurate. The first shot hit the Void Reaper's engines. The second shot hit its weapons. The third shot hit its bridge. Thexval had just enough time to realize that he had made a terrible mistake before his ship exploded around him. But the pirates were not giving up. They had been fighting and raiding for years. Their ships were fast and their crews were experienced. They spread out among the asteroids, using the big rocks for cover. Captain Wu Yung, commanding the assault cruiser Taekwondo, led his ship into the asteroid field. His weapons lit up the darkness as he hunted the remaining pirates. Behind him, the destroyers Busan Strike and Diegu's Hammer followed, their guns adding to the storm of fire. In space above the battle, Commander Soyoung led her fighter squadrons down into the chaos. Her ship, the Seoul Falcon, was small and fast. It danced between the asteroids like a deadly bird, its weapons cutting through pirate ships like paper. "Eagle Squadron, follow me," she called to her pilots. "Don't let any of them escape." Lieutenant Unji, flying her fighter beside Soyoung, targeted a pirate ship that was trying to run away. Her missiles hit it perfectly, turning it into a cloud of glowing metal. "That's one for the New Horizon," she said over the radio. But even as the battle raged, something was bothering communications officer Tae Hyung back on the Thunder. He had been studying the original distress call, running it through the ship's computers. The more he looked at it, the more wrong it seemed. "Admiral," he called to Doyun, "I need to show you something about that distress signal." Doyun was watching the battle, but he turned to listen. "What is it?" "The voice patterns, sir. I ran them through our language analysis system. The accent is wrong. No human colony ship would have someone speaking like that." Doyun felt ice form in his stomach. "What are you saying?" "And the technical details, sir. The ship systems they mentioned. They're all old designs. Ships like that haven't been built in 20 years. The New Horizon should have the newest equipment." Around them, the battle was ending. The last few pirate ships were trying to escape, but the human fighters were hunting them down one by one. In 10 minutes, what had been a pirate fleet was now just wreckage floating among the asteroids. But Doyun was not thinking about the battle anymore. "Are you telling me the distress call was fake?" Tae-hyung nodded. "Yes, sir. I'm sure of it. Someone copied human communication patterns and made a false emergency signal." The bridge went quiet, except for the sound of the computers and the distant explosions as the last pirate ship was destroyed. Everyone was looking at the admiral. Doyun's face was like stone. "They tricked us. They used our desire to save our people as a weapon against us." "Sir," said Captain Minho over the communicator, "we have prisoners from one of the pirate ships. Should we question them?" "Yes," Doyun replied. His voice was very quiet, but everyone on the bridge could hear the anger in it. "I want to know everything, who they are, why they did this, and if they have done it before." The interrogation took place on the Thunder's security deck. Captain Seojin led the questioning. The pirate they had captured was wounded and scared. When he saw the humans, he started talking immediately. "We didn't know," he said in broken human language. "We thought you would send one ship, maybe 2, not a whole fleet." "Why did you send the fake distress call?" Seojun asked. "It was Captain Thexval's idea. He said humans always come to rescue their people. He said we could capture your rescue ships and sell your technology." Seojin felt sick. Have you done this before? The pirate nodded quickly. Many times. Different species. We copy their emergency signals and then attack the ships that come to help. It usually works very well. How many times? Seojun's voice was getting dangerous. I don't know exactly. Maybe 50 times. Maybe more. We have been doing it for 3 years. The information went straight to Admiral Doyen. When he heard it, his anger became something cold and hard and terrible. These pirates had not just attacked humans. They had been using the rescue instincts of dozens of species as a weapon. They had been turning compassion into a trap. Sir, said his communications officer, we're getting reports from our other fleets. They've found more pirate bases in this sector. It looks like this was part of a much bigger operation. Doyen walked to the big window on his bridge and looked out at the wreckage floating among the asteroids. His fleet had won easily, too easily. The pirates had expected to fight 1 or 2 rescue ships. Instead, they had faced the full power of Earth's military. But that was not enough. Not anymore. Send a message to Terra Command, he ordered. Tell Admiral Kyung that the distress call was fake. Tell him these pirates have been doing this to many species for years. And tell him... Doyen paused, thinking about 50,000. People who were not really in danger. And all the real people who had probably died because of pirate tricks like this. Tell him what, sir? Asked his communications officer. Tell him we are not going home yet. We are going to find every pirate base in this sector. We are going to find every ship that belongs to these people, and we are going to make sure they never trick anyone again. The message went out toward Earth. At the same time, Doyen began giving new orders to his fleet. The ships spread out across the sector, hunting for more pirates. The fighters searched every asteroid and every moon. The destroyers tracked down supply lines and hidden bases. What had started as a rescue mission was becoming something much bigger. It was becoming a lesson for the entire galaxy about what happens when someone uses human compassion as a weapon. On Earth, Admiral Kyung received the report and read it twice. Then he sent his own message back to the fleet. You have permission to destroy every pirate in that sector. Show the galaxy that Earth does not forgive and Earth does not forget. The hunt was beginning. And across the galaxy, other species were starting to hear stories about what had happened to the pirates who faked a human distress call. The stories would grow with each telling, but they would all have the same ending. The pirates were gone, and Earth had made sure they would never hurt anyone again. The hunt began immediately. Admiral Doyen split his fleet into smaller groups, each one hunting in a different part of the sector. The humans were methodical and thorough. They checked every asteroid, every moon, every hidden space where pirates might hide. Captain Seojun took charge of interrogating the captured pirates. His ship, the Gangwon's Fury, had special rooms designed for questioning prisoners. The pirates who had survived the battle were brought there one by one. The first pirate they questioned was a thin creature with gray skin and too many eyes. He was terrified of the humans and would not stop talking. Please don't hurt me, he begged. I was just following orders. I didn't want to attack anyone. Seojun sat across from him at a metal table. 2 human soldiers stood behind the captain, their faces cold and hard. Tell me about your operation. How many ships do you have? Where are your bases? I don't know everything, the pirate said quickly. I was just a communications officer, but I know we had bases on 3 different asteroids, and there were other fleets working with us. Other fleets? Yes. The Velkari Syndicate has many groups. We were just one small part. There are maybe 100 ships total, spread across 5 star systems. Seojun felt his anger growing. 100 ships, 5 star systems. These pirates had been operating on a massive scale and nobody had stopped them. How many species have you attacked with fake distress calls? He asked. The pirate's eyes looked away. Many. The Centaurians were easy targets. So were the Baetans, and the Arcturians always sent their best ships to rescue people. We captured many good vessels that way. How many people have you killed? We didn't usually kill people, the pirate said quickly. We sold them as slaves. It was more profitable. Seojin stood up so fast that his chair fell over. The pirate shrank back in fear. Slaves, Seojin said quietly. You turned rescue missions into slave raids. The information went to Admiral Doyun immediately. When he read the report, his face became like stone. This was not just about one fake distress call. This was about systematic abuse of the kindness that made civilized species help each other. Captain Yuna, he called over the fleet communication system. Yes, sir, came the reply from the stealth destroyer Hidden Blade. I want you to find their supply lines. These pirates need food, fuel, and weapons. Someone is providing those things. Find out who. Understood, sir. My ship is designed for this kind of work. Captain Yuna was the best tracker in the Earth fleet. Her ship could move through space without being detected. Her crew was trained to follow the smallest clues across vast distances. It took her 6 hours to find the first supply convoy. 3 cargo ships escorted by 2 pirate cruisers carrying weapons and food to a hidden base. Yuna followed them quietly, mapping their route. Admiral, she reported, I've found a supply line leading to an asteroid base in the Kepler system. The base looks big. Maybe 1,000 pirates. Good work. Mark the location and continue tracking. I want to know about every base they have before we start destroying them. While Yuna hunted supply lines, Commander Hansel led his Marines in, attacking the smaller pirate bases they had already found. Hansel commanded the Marine assault ship Soul's Hammer. His soldiers were trained for fighting in space stations and asteroid bases. The first base they attacked was built inside a large asteroid. The pirates had dug tunnels through the rock and built their facilities deep underground. They thought they were safe. They were wrong. Hansel's Marines landed on the asteroid surface and used special drilling equipment to cut through the rock. Within an hour, they had broken into the pirate base from above. The pirates inside were not expecting an attack from that direction. Most of them surrendered immediately when they saw the human soldiers in their heavy armor carrying weapons that could cut through metal. Don't shoot, called their leader, a fat creature with purple skin. We surrender! Smart choice, Hansel replied through his helmet speakers. Now tell me about your operation. The base was full of stolen goods from dozens of different species. There were weapons from Centaurian ships, art from Betan colonies, and technology from races that Hansel had never heard of. But the worst discovery was in the deepest part of the base, cages, hundreds of them. Most were empty now, but the smell and the scratches on the walls told the story. This was where they had kept the people they captured during their fake rescue operations. How many people have you kept here? Hansel asked the pirate leader. I don't know exactly, the alien replied. Thousands, maybe. We sold them to different buyers across the galaxy. Hansel felt sick. Thousands of people, taken from rescue ships that had come to help them, sold as slaves because they had tried to save lives. Sir, called one of his Marines, we found something else. In the command center of the base, they discovered the pirates' records, files on hundreds of fake distress calls, lists of species and their rescue protocols, maps showing where other pirate groups were operating. The scope of the operation was huge. The Velkari Syndicate had been running fake distress calls across multiple sectors for 5 years. They had captured over 50 rescue ships and enslaved more than 10,000 people. Admiral Doyen read the reports and felt cold fury fill his heart. This was not just piracy. This was systematic destruction of the trust that held civilized society together. If people could not call for help without being attacked, then space would become a place where only the strong survived. New orders for all ships, he announced to his fleet. We are not just hunting pirates anymore. We are saving civilization itself. The human fleet spread across 5 star systems like an unstoppable force. Every pirate base was found and destroyed. Every supply ship was captured or sunk. Every hidden asteroid was searched. The pirates tried to fight back. They called for help from their allies. They offered to surrender and pay compensation. They begged for mercy. The humans gave them the same mercy they had shown to the people they had enslaved. None. Captain Wu Young led the attack on the main pirate shipyard, a facility built around a small moon. The pirates had dozens of ships under construction there, including vessels specifically designed for fake rescue operations. "Target their construction docks first," Wu Young ordered his weapons officer. "I don't want them building any more ships." The Taekwondo's guns lit up the darkness. The shipyard exploded in a chain reaction that could be seen from orbit. 60 years of pirate shipbuilding disappeared in 10 minutes. Commander So Young led fighter strikes against pirate supply convoys. Her pilots were fast and accurate. They disabled the cargo ships and captured the crews for questioning. Each interrogation revealed more information about the pirate network. "They have a main command base," reported Captain Jinwoo after questioning a captured pirate admiral. "It's in the Vega system, hidden in a nebula. All their operations are coordinated from there." Admiral Doyen smiled for the first time since the hunt began. "Set course for Vega. All ships, it's time to end this." The final battle was different from all the others. The main pirate base was huge and well defended. They had been expecting the humans and had prepared their strongest ships and best weapons, but they still did not understand what they were really fighting. This was not just the Earth fleet attacking a pirate base. This was the fury of every species that had ever sent rescue ships to help strangers in trouble. This was the anger of every family that had lost someone to a fake distress call. This was the promise that the galaxy would remain a place where people helped each other. The battle lasted 3 hours. When it was over, the pirate syndicate no longer existed. Their ships were wreckage. Their bases were destroyed. Their leaders were dead or captured. But Admiral Doyen was not finished yet. "Open a channel to all civilized worlds in this sector," he ordered. When the communication link was established, Doyen's image appeared on screens across dozens of star systems. Behind him, the wreckage of the pirate base burned in space. "This is Admiral Doyen of the Earth Defense Force," he began. "For 5 years, the Valkyrie Syndicate used your compassion as a weapon against you. They sent fake distress calls to capture your rescue ships and enslave your people. Today, that ends." He paused and looked directly into the camera. "Earth makes you this promise. Anyone who attacks ships responding to distress calls will face the full power of our military. Anyone who enslaves people will be hunted down and destroyed. Anyone who uses the kindness of others as a weapon will learn what happens when Earth replies with fire." The message went out across the galaxy. On 1,000 worlds, people watched and understood. The humans had not just defeated some pirates, they had defended the idea that civilized people help each other. From that day forward, fake distress calls became almost unknown in space. Pirates found other ways to attack ships, ways that did not bring the wrath of Earth down on them. But the real victory was something else. Rescue ships began answering distress calls again without fear. Trade routes became safer. The galaxy became a place where people could trust each other again. And everyone knew it was because Earth had shown them what happens when someone tries to turn compassion into a trap. 3 months later, the galaxy had changed. News of what Earth had done to the Valkyrie pirates traveled faster than light across every trade route and through every spaceport. The story grew with each telling, but the ending was always the same. The pirates were gone, and Earth had made sure they would never hurt anyone again. Captain Wu Young stood on the bridge of his ship, the Gangwon's Fury, reading the final report. His vessel was part of the cleanup operation, making sure no pirates had escaped the hunt. So far, they had found only empty bases and scattered wreckage. "Sir," called his communications officer, Lieutenant Hana, "we're receiving a transmission from the Galactic Trade Council. They want to speak with you directly." Wu Young nodded. "Put them through." The screen lit up with the image of Counselor Vextar, a tall alien with blue skin and silver eyes. Behind him, Wu Young could see the Great Council chamber where representatives, from dozens of species made decisions that affected the entire galaxy. Captain Wu Young, the counselor said, I am calling to thank you and your people for what you have done. The pirate threat in this sector has been completely eliminated. We were just doing our job, Counselor, Wu Young replied. No, Captain. You did much more than that. You restored something that was being lost, the ability for civilized people to trust each other in space. Vextar paused. The Council has voted to make fake distress signals a crime against all civilized species. Any government that allows such activities will face immediate sanctions. Wu Young felt satisfied. The new law would prevent other pirate groups from trying the same tricks. That is good news, Counselor. There is more, Captain. We are calling it the Terra Doctrine. Any attack on ships responding to distress calls will be considered an act of war against all Council members, and Earth will be the primary enforcement agency. After the transmission ended, Wu Young sat back in his command chair and smiled. Earth had not just defeated the pirates. They had changed the rules for the entire galaxy. On Earth, Admiral Kyung was in his office at Terra Command, meeting with the heads of other spacefaring governments. The room was full of diplomats and military leaders from across human space. The cleanup operation is almost complete, he told them. We've destroyed every pirate base in 5-star systems. We've rescued over 3,000 enslaved people and returned them to their home worlds. Ambassador Jiwon, Earth's representative to the Galactic Council, leaned forward. What about the other species? How are they reacting to what we did? They're grateful, Kyung replied, but they're also scared. We sent 60 warships to respond to one distress call. That kind of force projection makes people nervous. Good, said General Park, the head of Earth's Marine Forces. Fear keeps people honest. If pirates know that attacking humans brings this kind of response, they'll think twice before trying it. Kyung looked out his window at the city below. But we need to be careful. We don't want other species to think we're becoming aggressive. We want them to know we're protectors. Then we need to prove it, Ambassador Jiwon said. We need to show them that Earth uses its power to help people, not to conquer them. The proof came sooner than anyone expected. 2 weeks later, Captain Sunho was commanding the exploration vessel Jeju Dream on a routine survey mission near the edge of human space. His ship was small and lightly armed, designed for scientific research rather than fighting. Lieutenant Yoonji was monitoring the communication channels when she picked up a signal that made her sit up straight. Captain, she called, I'm receiving a distress call. Sunho felt his blood grow cold. After what had happened with the fake pirate signal, every distress call was suspicious. What does it say? It's from a Velkari civilian transport. Engine failure. Life support failing. They're requesting immediate assistance. Yoonji paused. Sir, they specifically mentioned that they know what happened to the pirate fleet. They're asking for help despite that. Sunho thought for a moment. The Velkari species had produced the pirates who faked the human distress call. Some of his crew might want revenge. But these were civilians, not pirates. How many people on board? He asked. 20 families, sir, including children. That decided it. Set course for their location, maximum speed, and send a message. This is Earth vessel Jeju Dream. We're coming to get you. The rescue took 4 hours. When they arrived, they found a small transport ship drifting in space. Its engines were dead, and its life support was failing, exactly as the distress call had said. Captain Sunho led the rescue team personally. They boarded the alien ship and began evacuating the passengers. The Velkari families were scared and grateful. Many of them were crying. Thank you, said their ship's captain, an elderly Velkari female. We know what our people did to you. We know you have every reason to hate us, but you came anyway. That's what we do, Sunho replied simply. We help people who need help, the you. Rescue made news across the galaxy. The story spread just as fast as the stories about the pirate fleet's destruction. Earth had destroyed those who attacked rescue missions, but they had also rescued the families of the same species. The message was clear. Earth's anger was directed at criminals, not at innocent people. Other species began to understand what humans were really like. They were dangerous to their enemies, but they were also protectors of anyone who needed help. On the space station orbiting Proxima Centauri, Captain June was meeting with representatives from 12 different species. They had come to discuss forming a new alliance for mutual protection and rescue operations. "Earth has shown us something important," said the Centaurian delegate, an insect-like creature with multiple arms. "When civilized people work together, they can defeat those who prey on kindness." "We propose a joint rescue fleet," added the Betan representative, a small humanoid with silver skin. "Ships from all our worlds, working together to respond to distress calls, with Earth's military providing protection." Captain June nodded. "Earth would be honored to participate in such an alliance, but we need to make the rules clear. Any attack on rescue operations will bring immediate and overwhelming retaliation." The alliance was formed within a month. Ships from dozens of species began working together, sharing the responsibility of keeping space safe for travelers. But everyone knew that Earth's warships were always ready to respond if anyone threatened the rescue operations. Years passed. The galaxy became a safer place. Trade flourished because merchants knew they could call for help if they got into trouble. Exploration expanded because scientists knew rescue ships would come if something went wrong. Colonies grew because families knew Earth would protect them if they were threatened. The story of the fake distress call became a legend. Children on 100 worlds learned about the pirates who thought they could trick Earth and what happened to them. The story always ended the same way. Never fake a human distress call because Earth will reply with fire. But there was another story that people told about the Velkari transport that was rescued by the same humans who had destroyed the Velkari pirates. That story had a different lesson. Help people who need help, and Earth will be your friend. Hurt people who need help, and Earth will be your doom. In his office on Earth, Admiral Kyung kept a small model of the Jeju Dream on his desk. It reminded him of what his people were really fighting for. Not conquest or revenge, but the simple idea that civilized people should help each other. Sometimes other military leaders visited him and asked about Earth's strategy in space. How did they plan to expand their territory? How did they choose which systems to invade? Kyung always gave them the same answer. Earth doesn't conquer. Earth protects. Our territory is everywhere that people need help. Our enemies are those who prey on the helpless. Our strategy is simple. If you call for help, we will come. If you attack those who are helping others, we will destroy you. The visitors usually left confused. They were used to thinking about space in terms of empires and conquests. They had trouble understanding a species that measured success by how many people they saved rather than how many worlds they conquered, but they all left with the same understanding. Earth was not like other military powers. It was something new and strange and powerful. It was a species that had turned compassion into a weapon more dangerous than any fleet of warships. And across the galaxy, in the deepest, darkest corners where criminals and pirates gathered, they told stories too. Stories about what happened to those who were foolish enough to fake a human distress call. Stories about the price of turning kindness into a trap. Those stories kept the peace better than any army ever could. The galaxy had learned an important lesson. Humans would cross any distance, fight any battle, and pay any price to save their people. But they had also learned something else. Humans would do the same thing for anyone who needed help, and that made all the difference. The fake distress call that was supposed to destroy one human rescue ship had instead created something much bigger. It had created a promise that echoed across the stars. In a galaxy full of dangers, There was one species that would always come when you called for help, as long as you were really calling for help. Because if you were lying, Earth would reply with fire.